Good evening, everybody, and
Beautiful.
welcome to the virtual stage. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager, and welcome back to another How to Rock the Virtual Stage, where we are here every week to help you improve your skills on the virtual platform that is growing and growing rapidly each and every week, each and every day. I'm a speaker, I'm a broadcaster. I've been doing this over 30 years, and I want to leverage all my experience to help you do this better in whatever setting you are in. And I bring on dynamic guests that help you improve your skills. If you're an author, if you're a speaker, if you're a broadcaster, if you're a teacher, we have covered the gamut. And tonight we're going to go into the corporate world and we're going to learn more about the corporate stage. I did not put on a tie and suit tonight, but that's okay. Asha and Mankowska. I think I got it right.
Mankowska. Perfect.
I got it. She's an executive mentor, virtual corporate trainer, which I love that title. She's an executive leadership, business, and branding consultant, Harvard speaker, a Forbes coach, and a best-selling author. And I love this about her, that she likes to ask this question. We're going to launch off with this one tonight. What do you know? Do you know a rock star leader that wants to move to the next level? That's why we're doing this show. When I saw that on her bio, I knew I had the right guess. What do you know that want to move from here to here and rock the stage better? Good evening, Asha. Welcome to the show tonight.
Good evening, Rich. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm very excited. It's going, preparing for the show. I was just doing like a little trip back into my past, remembering like I started 10 years ago with everything that we actually will be talking about today. And it's such a funny thing, just because of this COVID, I think like 10 years ago, and you will know why in a minute.
Well, as we get rolling here tonight, we're going to open up a poll here. It's just so we get a vibe where everyone's at, because some people are really trying to dive in. Some people are newbies. They're all over the platform. So the best serve everybody, I want to get a feel for them. So our opening question here tonight, we're going to drop a poll in here. Once you take a poll, we will talk about it. Do you believe the virtual stage is here to stay? Or do you think it's a fad that's going to go through? I'm going to launch the poll here. Everyone, take your vote here for a few moments. While Asha, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this whole crazy business.
Well, born and raised in Europe, beautiful Poland. So you can hear from my accent. Sometimes when people ask me where I'm from, I say, oh, Texas, Especially here in California, and they, oh yeah. I'm like, really? But I had such a fantastic time in Poland growing up, because I got to be an attorney and in both continents, in Europe and US. And I also had such a fun time with PR, journalism and leadership, because that was my master's theme. Right? So TV, radio, it was being published, translated by the age of 24 back in Europe. It was all part of my life already back then, even before I moved here all by myself. Don't say this to anyone.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't say that. I remember it was so funny. My family was so scared. My friends, everyone around me, in my face, they were calling me courageous. Behind my back, they were telling me that I'm crazy. But so when I moved here, obviously I had to start from scratch, and the easiest thing was being an attorney again. Right? But very quickly, I realized it's not what I really wanted to do. And I think my PR and journalist background really kicked in all my life, because since like 17 years, I own businesses, build businesses, brand them, sell them, create products, and so on. But always very big part of it was marketing, executive presence, branding, and I was surrounded by people that wanted to go to the next level. Doesn't matter what profession they were, right? And I really feel it allowed me to flourish in San Diego and just opportunities were left and right. And I just want to say one thing, that guys, yes, I've been really fortunate and successful, but seriously, if I can do it, anyone can do it, because we all start somewhere. And I always say this to myself and to my clients: it's better done than perfect. Remember that.
And that's exactly the great way to do it, because we're all learning on the fly.
Yeah.
No one expected this to be part of being a public speaker. Broadcasting, like you said, I come out of broadcasting journalism. So we have a leg up. Most people are now learning broadcasting skills. I coach a lot of broadcasting skills to help people do this. So yes, we have skill sets that people do not normally have, even though they're speakers. This is a totally different ball game. And
Yeah.
so experiment, try, don't be afraid. You will get better. By the way, here's how our poll came. I'm going to show everybody the poll as we voted on it. I'm going to show those results. But do you believe the virtual stage is here to stay? From everyone that voted, it's a unanimous yes. It's here to stay. Now, Asha, do you agree that the stage is here, or is this a temporary COVID thing?
No, it's just a temporary thing. I'm joking. No, you know what? It's it already. I've been teaching video marketing and videos, intros, and I was helping my clients, executives, do it 10 years ago. I'm not even joking. I just counted today before our meeting, and I'm like, no way, it has been that long. And you know what? Over those years, a lot of executives even told me, in corporate world, business owners, coaches, consultants, you know what? In person is the most important. It's going to go away. And guess what?
Here we are.
It's not. And here we are. And what do you think, Rich? I mean, I know, I have a feeling what you will tell me. But what do you think? Is this virtual reality right now is here to stay or not?
No, I think it is here to stay, and that's why I think we need to coach it, direct it. I think whether it is your public speaker, and you and I both deal with executives and leadership, leaders have to figure out how to talk through this camera. They have to figure out how to present, not do boardroom meetings anymore. They have to figure out how to present their material, their businesses, their dreams through this camera lens. Now, that's where you've been already. You've already been doing this. So I'm really excited to hear what you've learned, because for many of us, this is new pioneering territory. So tell us about the corporate virtual stage. Most people are used to boardrooms.
Yeah.
How do you change the boardroom into a virtual environment, as I call them, and bring it and make it exciting?
Yeah. You know, I have to just say, I'm not only on the corporate side, I also work with small businesses. And I was very fortunate because my coaching, consulting, and branding was kind of like on the border, was like a very gray line. So I was very fortunate even 10 years ago when I switched from being an attorney to this, what I'm been doing right now. I've been very fortunate to really be on both sides, right? So small business owners, sometimes I worked with educators having their own schools for other students. I worked with them. I was always very fortunate to attract leaders from all kinds of places. And I love to work with leaders, because if you work with someone that has huge impact, guess what? It's always a ripple effect, right?
Yeah. And the virtual stage now can be global. It's very exciting that you come from an international community to begin with. Is the international community different virtually than what we do in here in the States, or are we all basically beginning to do the same thing?
You know, I think it will be definitely different, because we have to remember there is multiple aspects, right? But there is also other aspects, not only, let's say, with video conferencing, with the virtual space, with virtual offices right now, right?
Yeah.
Or with virtual executive presence right now, that we leaders, we have to just be the rock star of it, we want or not. There is also, especially in business, and leadership, there is also many differences. So it's not only anymore about being confident, have a great body language, look good, right? Look professional, make sure your content is on point. Will be a different content when you have a presentation with smaller group than with huge group. It's a different type of presentations when let's say 1 day event, 2 days event, right? A training that we provide, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. And again, we're doing webinars. We're doing hosting of shows. We're doing multiple day events now. And so there's so many different layers. It's not a one-off and you're done when you walk off the stage now.
Yes.
You're literally maybe doing 2 or 3 different things. You could do something like we're doing, a true webinar. Then you could do something where you're doing a true presentation. It's a monologue. Or you could do an open forum like the second half of our show. We're going to all be talking together and asking questions together. There's so many different ways that we can do this now as speakers and leaders.
Absolutely. So back to your question, is it different? Absolutely, yes. Because let's say if I speak with people in Europe, I want to make sure my content, my behavior, my personality will always come across. Don't worry about that, right? But everything else has to be delivered in a way my audience will be able to understand and it will be clear to them, correct?
Yeah, so talk about that for a second, because usually you go in, you read the room, maybe you do some history on the company you're going to talk at, so you know their language, you know their industry. Now on this global platform, virtually, we have to Google, we have to do some research, but then when you present, like you just said, we have to be aware it's not America. I've been to India, I've been to Australia, I've been to Canada. So talk to us about, help us learn some real practical tips about how do you do that international presentation from your home office.
You know what? It's not actually that different in a sense that usually it's not per se just one country that you do. When I speak at conferences, I do training, and the crowd is, let's say, 80% American. And then there is such a variety of Europeans and this and this. So, just make sure you engage with everyone. So your job as a great leader and presenter, it's not just about us, right? The executive presence and so on, shine and rock the stage. This is fun part, be engaging, obviously, right? But make sure you know your audience. Do your due diligence to find out who is in your audience. So to me, there is no difference when I'm preparing for my audience in person and for a virtual presentation. I still want to make sure everyone is engaged. I still want to make sure I'm familiar. I have a dialogue with my audience. Is give and take, right?
Well, yeah. So do you have certain tools to help you build that rapport, to do your research? What are you using for research before you ever get on camera and you know your audience? What are you doing behind the scenes so that you can rock it?
Well, I can't tell you that, That's all the secret service.
You're a big tease. You know that? You're a big tease.
I just always make it fun for myself and for others, because it's really, there is so much content out there that we have to cover. But it's better when, I work with neuro leadership. I work with brain. What brain needs to have is engagement. It has to have changes all the time. That's why we joking, we switching, we having dialogue, not a monologue. We are, the tonation of our voice, it's different up and down. We have statements and questions, right? So we have to keep that engaged. This little part of us, right? But yes. And that's not easy. But the thing is that with virtual, it's more work for us presenters. I'm not going to lie. It's more work. It's the due diligence. First of all, you have to research who is in your audience, where they coming from, what are their backgrounds, right? Why are they here? Let's say I love how you did the poll at the beginning to find out where everyone is, right?
Right.
Because so games, questions, like later on, questions and answers to connect in person, right, with everyone. Before, during, and after. There's 3 phases to make sure, set expectations before, right, towards myself as a leader and as a presenter and my audience. Be clear, communicate prior to it. Let's say like we sent all the invitations, explain what this presentation will be about, what type of results they can expect, correct?
Yes.
And then, right, so all that prior, and then knowing who are you speaking with, you will have that upper hand, so to speak, that you know their language, you know how to talk to them, correct?
Right, and that's actually one thing that I've learned as I do my research. What are their company what are their company struggles? What are their company brand names? What are their company taglines? The more I understand their language as I present in the corporate setting, the better it is to translate what I want to tell them. That's part of the research.
Correct. Because you know what I usually look at? That's one of my secrets. Mission statement.
Yes.
You know why? And you know why?
Because it tells you where they're going. It tells you where their target is.
Huh? I don't have to tell you. Yes, exactly.
But the thing that I dig for, I actually go one, because mission vision is common for businesses. When I do research, I go look for their value systems. Because their value systems will tell you far more than that mission statement. Do you agree?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes. And the beautiful thing is that mission statement is where their value system will start. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. This is home reality.
This is live. This is how we do it.
This is live, guys. Okay. This is the raw situation right now. But this is it. In mission statement, vision, that's how the company will share their values, why they doing what you're doing. Because frankly, even with business owners, small business owners, I always tell my clients, your clients don't care what you offer. They don't care about your products, features, an amazing platform that you're offering. They really care 2 things. Why you're doing this and how that can relate to them, which means what can you do for them? What kind of solutions and results can you offer? Correct?
Right. And then us as communicators, if we know that going in, we can then better jump that gap, jump that void, especially virtually. We can jump it and say, I know what you're selling, why you're selling it, who you're selling it to, and I know the desired outcome you want to have. Let me make it even better.
Yes, absolutely. So due diligence prior to going into and even if you have a keynote presentation that you're doing 10,000 times, please remember your audience is a little bit different each time. Make sure you're tailored towards their needs.
That's a big step, everybody. Make sure you write that down, because we've done the same talk over and over again. Asha's done it, I've done it. We use the same talk, but the audience is different. So you have to change an illustration, change a story. You have to change it so it will speak to them at that moment. And so it's not the same presentation over and over. It's an adaptation of a presentation.
I love that. Yes, it's an adaptation of the presentation. Even 10 years ago, I'm not even joking. When we worked, I started working with my clients on their intro first, right? 3 minute intro that they can put on their website, or inside websites, information if they're corporation executives. But then the next step obviously was signature program, signature speech, signature whatnot, a training that they were providing. Guess what? The moment they changed their audience, what do we had to do?
You had to change the intro a little bit. They have to modify it just a little bit.
We had to adapt. I love the word. We exactly had to adapt towards their audience because their needs were different. Correct?
Right.
The language might be different. Their examples had to be different as well, so they can understand. No. So it's super crucially important to know who you're speaking with, what language, and how to, because only then you can relate to them, they can relate to you, and they can help them.
You were talking about presentation skills a second ago. So I'm going to ask everybody, I'm going to bring another poll up here about presentation skills, because I want to hear where people are at. We're going to launch this poll. Everyone take your moment and get in here. What is your biggest challenge in presenting virtually? Now, we were talking about some of those presentation skills, but I'm curious to hear what they say might be affecting them, because some people hate the camera. Some people hate the technology. Some people hate the fact that they can't just dress any way they want to. There's a lot of things now about presentation because you roll tape. It's there forever. It's out on the internet. There's so many things now that are affecting people. So I'm curious, what would you say are the biggest hurdles of presentation right now?
It's so funny. Remember when at the beginning I told you that you will find out why I feel like I'm back 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. 10 years ago, I started with my executives, with my coaches, consultants, when I was vice president of branding and marketing for a nonprofit organization here in San Diego, for consultants, coaches, professionals, on all that, to explain to them why webinars are important, how to use them, what to do. And, you know, I worked with amazing, experienced people that had 20, 30 years experience. But when it comes to camera, right, there was something different that, let's say, they could present in front of the hundreds of people. You put one little lens in front of them with few lights and you got this. Or
exactly.
Or, you know, and come on, I'm not laughing at this. I'm not. It was just, I remember, you know, 3 minute intro. Do you know how long it took us?
15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Keep going.
Did it take a day?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Well, it's a game changer. Again, yeah. I've been radio broadcasting. I've been on camera, but I've been mostly radio. So I knew where I was doing it. I've had a lot of friends on the TV side, but for so many people, yeah, they can tell it, they can talk it, they can share it, but you put a camera and it's like, I freak out.
Yes. Or the funny part was, like, let's say they wanted to make it so perfect, right? They remember one sentence and then they forgot the other. It's like, oh, let's start again. Oh, right. No, edit that again. No. I'm like, no, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Take a deep breath, right?
So I'm going to share these results and let's get your feedback, because this is very interesting. This is pretty much
wow.
But having more personal meeting, the interactions piece we were talking about, that's a huge part. But this is pretty much across the board. The people we have here tonight are like, it could be this, it could be this, it could be that. Is that surprising that it's so diverse, or is this what you're seeing for your people that you're coaching as well?
You know what? I see all kinds of answers, like right here. Body language is also big. No one, you know, tapped on that, but I think body language is huge. Where to look, audio, lighting, and so on. That's super important. People have issues with that, but frankly, we can that's easy fix, you know, because right now I had to, even recently, I had to create my own studio. I'm still recreating my own studio and my own house. I have 2 offices right now, you know, where I do everything. But right now, everything is so available to us, correct?
Yeah,
so,
right. Yes. I actually
so
got on Amazon and I got brand new studio lights just in time for the show today. So
see,
and the people have been following along. They know I've updated, I've changed, I've tripled the size of my virtual studio already. I just got brand new studio lights for that very reason. I want to keep up in the game and help people up their game as well.
yes, yes. So, well, I think I would love to touch upon maybe body language that no one mentioned, because
Yeah.
I really feel it's extremely important. And the last not least, that was the be personal, right? Can you please read that one more time?
Yeah. The ways to make it more personal, not just make it a meeting, but make it personal.
Okay.
So body language, and let's make it more personal.
All right. So let's call this body language and engagement.
Perfect.
Do you like that? Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So, you know, everyone talks about eye contact, right? Look at the camera. But the thing is that body language, you have to be yourself. You can't just learn some, how you, like, I'm talking with my hands, right? So unless I'll sit on my hand, you will see my hands moving around, right? And it's okay because it's part of me. So do not try to be fake, because people can sense that. People can feel it. And the energy will be completely off, right?
Yes.
When you are a speaker, a presenter on stage or virtually, please remember the real people are on the other side. Make sure you visualize them right now in front of you, maybe nodding right now or being bored, right? Or something like that.
They're never bored with you, Asha. Come on, they're never bored.
I know. Well, if they try, there are consequences. And I'm not joking. I really am not joking. Well, my students, my executives, they really know that. So, but you know what? We always make it fun. But that's it. Body language. Please remember, I'm talking about the virtual executive presence. You want your body language to be confident, also calm, peaceful, very strong. So you are there to make an impact. Bless you. You are there to connect, but you are there to make a difference as well. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm going to bring everybody in. While you're still going, I'm going to switch everyone into active participation mode. You guys start getting your questions ready. Think about when you want to ask Asha or myself. Because I've got another thing I think we're going to tackle here. But Asha, just keep going with your presentation tips. Those are dynamite.
Thank you. So, you know, don't be afraid, be a dynamite, be the rock star, and so on. Like, I love those words because that's exactly how it has to be. But please remember also one thing. So your body language has to follow your voice, right? You have to make sure people can trust you, be open to them, make sure your energy commands the room that you are in, even if it's only one lens. Please remember there are people watching you. I remember 10 years ago, I was telling my client executives that they were like, video marketing, who cares? Webinars, who cares? It's going just like a little hobby, probably, you know. I told them, listen, imagine if you hire an employee, the best, the most efficient employee in the whole world. Something, let's say one video, 3 minutes, that you do the work once. And this little video will work for you every single day, 24/7, for 365 days a year, for one price that you already done. Okay, so so that's one. That's the body language, voice. Now, do we have any questions coming here before I move to engagement?
No, please move on to engagement. I'm just getting them all ready so you can start seeing the faces and getting ready to have the full interaction. But please keep going.
All right. So now, how to make it more personal? Again, it's like a pieces of puzzles. Have some sort of stories ready. Make sure those stories can be relatable to your audience. Make sure maybe you can look it up, some of your audience, find out what they need. If you can possibly do a little survey even before you jump on the training or presentation with them, correct? So you can know something that they're struggling with. So I have an academy that works with public speaker of all levels, from people that are starting, professionals that are starting presentations, for really already, you know, international, famous professional from all around the world. And trust me, we all have a room to grow. So I don't care where you're at, the engagement part, let's say in my academy, that's the most often question I always get.
I'm asking everyone to please bring on their cameras. In a moment, we're going to make this totally interactive here. And we are going to open up the microphones and let you talk directly to Asha. And so, Asha, one of the things that I was thinking about is, as broadcasters, we know we get excited. We know we talk faster than we should. One of the tricks is you want to have passion, you want to be excited, but you don't want to fire hose people with their voice. So when it comes to presentation, can you talk about using your voice in a way that they'll hear you and you're not a robot, but you still have that full passion?
That's super, super important, because most of my clients, they know the content for 20 years, right? So sometimes they trying to overload the audience with all the data they have. And imagine yourself, I know we are so passionate and we want to give all the information, but please remember, imagine yourself like an actor on a stage. This is your stage. Know when to pause, know when to laugh, know when to stop talking, know when to ask a question, have their brains going, you know, when to make a joke. It's super important. Eye contact. Or even, you know, let's say when I have a group usually and I see everyone, I never do monologue, or we always do dialogue. I will say, so Rich, what do you think? You know, that's my question. You know, I want to know your opinion.
And that's part of the journalist in us. We both have been the interviewer, and now we're the interviewee. And yes. So that's a different thing. We're going to open up the questions here. Anyone got a question, raise your hand. I'll unmute you, bring you in, and you can ask Asha. And let's get the conversation going for everybody so we can really make this practical for your needs tonight.
And please share something about yourself. Tell us where you're at with you know, your level, so to speak, your journey, because we want to know, make sure that, you know, we are on the same page.
Fantastic. So who's got a hand? Who wants to go first? Dive off the deep end with us here tonight. Jeremiah, let me get you on here. Oh, you're on, Jeremiah. Go, man.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Asha, doing this tonight. So I am in still very beginning stages of trying to get a podcast and maybe some kind of related blogging type stuff going on. And I wanted to get your viewpoint on what do you think of, you mentioned the VR space as being something that is coming out, but and I've become pretty interested in that myself. What are you seeing from an actual business standpoint, the role of VR maybe becoming, as it's starting to mature, as a actual business platform rather than just, you know, what it's been up till now, basically gaming?
So the VR becoming business oriented, you're saying, right? VR business. Asha,
Right.
what do you think about that?
I'm seeing some platforms. I'm seeing some platforms.
Yeah, right now your
out
mic
there.
is breaking up. Your mic is breaking up there, buddy. But Asha, what do you think about the platforms, the VR platforms? What do you think? Is it just going to be Zoom only, or do you think we're going to have real interactive platforms emerging?
So thank you so much for your question, and congratulations on your new journey. You know, I know it's going to be fun. Don't be worried, Jeremiah, about the audio. Just sometimes it's just the internet. You know, we don't have control over that, but you did that. I just commend you for your courage. You showed your face. You rock. All right, that's the most important. So you did fantastic. Now, you're going to have fun with podcast. And please give me a favor, always do video podcast like we're doing right now. And don't worry about the quality. If you come across all technical difficulties, we're all having those all the time, like even today, after how many, 10 years doing this, right? It's okay. Now, in terms of platforms, correct? That was the question. So 10 years ago, I remember I was using Google Hangouts because that was perfect. Back then, because it was connected with YouTube, right? They're downloaded for you in YouTube right away. Now, Zoom became very popular. Then I switched to Blue Jeans as well, to other platforms that I've been leveraging. LinkedIn Live, correct? So
Yeah.
there are so many platforms. But now I have to say I came back a little bit to Zoom again because they updated their game, really. So I'm noticing that a lot of people, for trainings, for podcasts, for longer seminars, they do Zoom. They still use Zoom only because, let's say, you can streamline using one platform, Zoom. You can streamline to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to other platforms as well. Plus, it's recording for you. Yeah. So for now, I will definitely recommend Zoom, but I'm always on the lookout for new platforms, you know?
And let me just chime in. I was on 2 calls today, one over in Taiwan, where they're trying to create a new platform, Jeremiah. And so they're actually asking speakers for input of what would speakers want? What's going to up that next level of game? So there are software creators, there are content creators, all trying to do this very same thing. And in the coming weeks, we are going to split this off, and we are going to multi-site this and stream it to YouTube for the new Rock the Stage YouTube channel that just began this week. So we're going to do this multi-streaming as well, because you don't want to just be one-dimensional. You want to keep expanding this for more connections.
Correct. So you have to choose platform. For instance, when I do training for my corporate clients, we use Teams, right? The Teams Microsoft software, which is fantastic because that can be project management. It really across all other spaces that in corporate worlds, they do need that. So really your platform that you will be using, it will be up to your audience. where is your audience? Because if they are not familiar with your platform that you will be using, you might be losing them too. So don't look what's the most popular and so on, but what platform or platforms, because I always like to use two at least to have some backup, right? Offers for your audience. Plus another thing, storage. Because if you're going to be doing a podcast, you want to make sure you have enough storage, that the platform, let's say, will be using some maybe third party storage as well to have a backup or anything like that, right? Let's say LinkedIn Live, they don't do it by themselves. They use what or whom? They use several platforms. They are third party platforms, right? It's kind of like it's their responsibility if something would not work. But for now, if you're just starting, I think Zoom will be the most, because of all the updates that they did recently, the last year, especially 2020, they really upgraded their game. But they're also like Blue Jeans, like I said, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live.
Yeah,
that's the most.
And just let me jump in there. LinkedIn Live is actually screening people right now. So if you're doing video content on LinkedIn, you have a leg up. They are wanting people to test it out to make sure it's good to go. So you have to get invited in. It's taking about 2 months to get into it. Right now, I'm waiting.
That's right.
So I'm waiting for my approval to be able to do LinkedIn Live. There's a couple of people that I know they're doing it. But who else has got some questions for us tonight? Jump on in, raise a hand, and all right. You might be able to unmute yourself. I am going to unmute you, hopefully. You are live. Go for it.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to share a little bit with Jeremiah, because he was very specific about virtual reality and what do we kind of feel, what do we see. I did some research about 4 months ago, and I looked at a number of platforms. I mean, there are literally probably like 100.
Oh, yeah.
So there are tons of them. But in terms of virtual reality, what I see happening right now is people are using those for like career expos and vendor fairs and things like that. So there are things that are more geared toward a very, specific kind of general public audience, but not so much for like the corporate space yet. But I do think that there's some new platforms that I'm aware of that are coming out that are kind of blending the two together. I do think that is going to be the way, because the whole gamification issue is like hot as it can be. And as more people jump onto the virtual environment, everybody's going to be trying to differentiate themselves and bring more gaming, more some of the HD kind of stuff and 3D and all of that stuff. So I think we will get there. I don't think we're there yet with virtual.
Thank you. That's perfect. There was a virtual game a while ago. I think it was called Next Life, and you could have your avatars, and you were virtually with people around the world. So Next Life was huge. I think we're going to go that direction with this. I think we will have a very interactive virtual component, and I don't think it's going to be that long, because they're changing things very quickly, Asha, aren't they? I mean, you're probably getting updates as fast as I am right now.
A lot of corporations, they testing so many new platforms with avatars right now for conferences, for even trainings that you don't even show. You just having an avatar, which is fun. I remember testing like my first one of those 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It was very interesting, but then you mentioned, it's not ready yet, so it really depends on your audience, what will be available to them, what will be the easiest way to reach out So that's why right now we are highly recommending what's available, which is Zoom, Blue Jeans, what can be accessible to people, because you can use the most fancy and phenomenal platform ever, but if your clients, your audience won't be able to participate, get engaged, or there will be all technical issues, which always will be, trust me, you will lose so much people. Bottom line.
No, that's very true, because you want to keep momentum going. You don't want to have
correct.
I post, Jeremiah's in my group. Jeremiah knows this. I post regularly in my group, update, because there's so many updates. And if you're not updating, you're not getting in. So you need to update your software to make you on top of it. Who else has got a question for us tonight? Raise your hand. We'll bring you on in to the conversation. All right, Jamie, you are unmuted. Give us a shot, Jamie.
Hi, thank you. I have to head out in a few minutes because I have an animal Reiki meditation circle that I host. But
nice.
I do have a question. We've talked a lot about corporate and reaching large audiences. I've graduated from the National Speakers Academy, and I have spoken on stage, but mainly to get my message out about animals. And my question is, if it's a smaller audience, so it's something you're hosting, how sophisticated do you think we're going to have to be down the road as a small business owner, as far as the technical? I've worked in television years ago, so I know everything changes, and I like all the fancy stuff too. But how are we going to have to advance technically? Or is it more about our story and our message and reaching the people? I mean, are we going to be expected to have the same setup as maybe the corporate?
That's a great question. I thank you, Jamie. Appreciate that. And again, thanks for being with us for as long as you could. I know you have to drop off in a few months, so thank you. Asha, what do you think about that? Technology advancements, small versus big?
That's a great question, because and very short, in a nutshell, because I know you have to run. It's going to get easier and easier. Even right now, you have a studio quality in your own home, 1-day delivery through Amazon. It's the thing is that even corporate world, everyone had to move to virtual offices right now. And no, corporations cannot provide for you corporate quality in the house, right? But everything is simple right now. Look at that. Years ago, we would been using different technology. The apps were more difficult, software more advanced, right? Or more even difficult. Right now, we're using light, phone, and computer, right? And mics, and just the quality. So I think, like you said, the message will be the most important, the content, your values, the results, that your story will be still the most important. So I will really focus on that, because technology platforms are changing every single minute, literally. What we've been testing, like I mentioned, 5-6 years ago, right now, there are hundreds or thousands of new similar softwares like that are still being tested and developed, and I feel it's getting easier and easier for us, thankfully, because I'm not a techie person at all. I hire smarter people than me to do it for me. What do you think, Rich? Because that's a great question.
No, Jamie, before you go, I just want to add this, because Asha's right, but I coach people. You are the star of the show. There's been a lot of movies where they've gone big technology. I'm a Star Trek fan. So Star Trek, the motion picture, tried to be Star Wars. Star Trek's always been story character driven. Star Trek, the motion picture, did not do well because they went too big special effects. They went big screen. Star Trek 2 went back to story, and it exploded. You are the star. Your story, your personality. You can get around the technology things, but if you think technology is going to save you, you're missing. You're the star of it. And never lose that. No matter how many bells and whistles you get, you have to be the one that's really in control of it.
Thank you. That answered my question. Thank you very much.
Jamie, and remember also one thing, doesn't matter if you're in front of smaller group or hundreds of people or virtually or one-on-one, right? You always want to create the amazing experience for them so they can relate to you, they can connect with you and create a relationship with you, with your story. The most important is that.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Who else has got a question for us tonight? Raise your hand. We're heading down the home stretch here, but if anyone else has final questions for Asha before we wrap up. Asha, as she's doing that, what are some really big takeaways you want to make sure that everyone gets here tonight?
Okay. So the takeaways mostly about an engagement, because that's the question I usually get from my clients. How do I get engagements from my virtual audience? How do I make sure my team is engaged, right? Even they work from home right now, or my people at my conference and my workshop are engaged, right? So I'm not just talking to them, at them. I'm being there with them. So I really love what we're doing right now. So Robin, if you can get in, we'd love to see your beautiful face and hear your voice.
I'm going to try again here, Robin.
Yeah.
Supposedly on my end, it says you're live. Let's try it again, Robin.
Let's see if it's going to happen. No.
The gremlins are with us tonight. I apologize for that.
It happened.
You have to come back next week, Robin, and ask your question. Asha will come back and we'll,
Yeah. Just for you, Robin. We'll do that, for a few minutes. But
by the way,
keep
next
trying.
week for everyone, we will have a Robin Hatcher with us next week. Robin is an actress, professional speaker. She is global renowned, just like Asha is. And she's going to come back and talk about what from the acting stage performance, because now this is becoming broadcasting. We are learning broadcast skills.
Right.
She's been behind the camera. She's been on sets. We're going to hear more from that side about how to do the presentation and how to bring it to life, because we're in rooms by ourselves.
Yeah.
And you have to use your imagination to create a crowd. I've done acting. It's a whole different thing when you're by yourself. And that's one of the coolest things. And she's going to talk to us next week about some of those skills to enliven our imagination and bring it together.
Fantastic. But I think we touched upon this a little bit. Remember when I mentioned that we have to have imagine our crowd in front of us, people nodding, that we are not by ourselves, that we have someone standing, sitting, and interacting with us. But like I said before, we have to be the actor, the actress on the stage, because we are, right now. But in terms of very quickly, the engagement, respecting your audience is a big thing. Why I mentioned this here, because when people are not being heard or noticed, or they don't have a chance to speak up, right, or show up, they won't be engaged. So I always give my audience the space, the respect, and the opportunity to show up, to share their expertise, because let's say we always have something important to add, like we did today, right? One person has a question, the other one from audience have something additional to add. Fantastic. Because we all not mentors per se, we are just facilitators. So we all have certain expertise we can share. So it's just respecting your audience.
No, that's perfect. And we're going to give you a gift right now, because we're going to do that. What I want everyone to do here for a second is, since we're having trouble with your mic, Robin, sorry, but Angela and Jeremiah, if I could turn your mics on, and Angela, if you want to go first, what's your biggest takeaway for the night? What is the thing that you would want to let Asha know that, thank you, this is what you got? What's your biggest takeaway? And let's see if we get your mic unmuted there. Yeah, give us a shout out for Asha.
Let's see. I think just probably the whole, it just reinforces the whole concept of just being yourself, whether you are on virtual stage, real stage, small briefing, large conference, because that is what the audience is coming for. They're coming for you.
Yeah.
And so you can't be robotic about it and copy what the next speaker does. You got to develop your own style.
Very true. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that was important for you.
Thank you very much. Jeremiah, we're going to bring you on here for a second and unmute. And what was your biggest takeaway tonight, Jeremiah?
Hopefully it'll work tonight. The best is that content is king. I certainly we hear a lot, but yeah, don't worry about the technology. People are going to still like people again. I can have all the bangs in the world, but you gotta bring the content. You can be as slick a picture as you want, but if people aren't relating to it, it's useless. And thank you for the advice about doing video along with the podcasting.
Yes.
I want to do that. Probably a little intimidated by that, but it's good. It'll be a good challenge.
You know what, Jeremiah, everyone is intimidated at the beginning, but trust me, you will get the quality of relationships with people that you will never get without the video. So you will be able to deepen that connection for a long, long time with your audience, with your guests, possibly. So you will do great. Trust me. You will rock it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And also, Jeremiah, practice with the video. Strip the audio off right now and just let the audio run, but get used to the camera. You never have to use it for a while. That's just practice for you. And then eventually bring the video side to your podcast, like we're doing here tonight. But you can use the audio track and practice just by yourself. Nobody has to know except for you and the guests, and don't worry about that. So it's another freebie.
Another thing, what I always recommended my clients, I have them in a habit of doing like less than 1 minute video using Facebook Live or just their video about something. Hey guys, using the stick. Hey guys, I am just here, hiking. It's fantastic weather. I just want to share one tip with you that came to my mind about my expertise. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Boom.
And TikTok is blowing up right now with people doing that. So Asha, thank you very much for being with us tonight. You definitely rocked it. We will always have Asha's information. Yeah, please, round of applause, happy hands, whatever. But we will have all of her information in the post log, in the description, on the playback, all that sort of stuff. And we do have a now How to Rock the Virtual Stage YouTube channel. All of our former shows are up there. I've got a couple more to put up there as well. So if you missed a playback, go subscribe, follow, and get this great content. It's there for you to enjoy. And next week, Robin Hatcher will be with us. In 2 weeks, Janet Hogan from Australia. We're going down under in 2 weeks. And
fantastic.
The third week, we're going to have military joining us. We're going to have a serviceman, a Green Beret, come on and talk about what he's doing. So we have, there we go. So as we wrap up tonight, and I take a swallow there, I got a tear, Asha. You got me all choked up now.
Oh, I know. You will miss me. I understand. It's just you don't want me to go. That's okay.
I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I hope it's been a great time. Please, come on back next week. We'll do it again, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock. We wrap up right around then. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for your comments. And we'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much, Rich.